Hello everyone, welcome to the Yahona Light. I apologize that I wasn't able to advertise to have an episode last night, which Wednesday night. Was invited to a nice little spiritual dinner party at the home of my former bishop, who's now a member of the High Council. Wonderful friend of mine. If I can get this crazy computer to cooperate, we're going to go straight into 2nd Nephi. Alright? And I was planning on just covering chapter 1 and chapter 2 of 1st Nephi, but in the interest of time, shows you how long I've been on this thing, we are going to go into the Book of Mormon, and we're going to cover 2nd Nephi, chapter 2. Are you guys ready? I'm only going to cover, a certain subset of verses that I see as important. I think we're going to go all the way up to we're going to start with verse 5 through verse 9. And we're going to explain those little by little. If I can get this. There we go. And men are instructed sufficiently that they know good from evil. And the law is given unto men. And by the law no flesh is justified, or by the law men are cut off. Yea, by the temporal law they were cut off, and also by the spiritual law they perish from that which is good, and become miserable forever. Here's verse 6. If I can get it to mark. Verse 6 says, Wherefore, redemption cometh in and through the Holy Messiah, for he is full of grace and truth. And now, verse 7. If I can get it to mark, verse 7. Technology can be quite stubborn. I also think it's operator error as well. It is operator error. Okay, verse 7. Behold, he offereth himself a sacrifice for sin, to answer the ends of the law, unto all those who have a broken heart and a contrite spirit, and unto none else can the ends of the law be answered. I tell you, that's part of it there. That's part of it there. And now, we're going to go on to verse 8. Verse 8 says, Wherefore, how great the importance to make these things known unto the inhabitants of the earth, that they may know that there is no flesh that can dwell in the presence of God, save it be through the merits and mercy and grace of the Holy Messiah, who layeth down his life according to the flesh, and taketh it again by the power of the Spirit, that he may bring to pass the resurrection of the dead, being the first that should rise. Verse 9. Wherefore he is the firstfruits unto God, inasmuch as he shall make intercession for all the children of men, and they that believe in him shall be saved. That's a lot to think about. That's a lot to think about. And now, after that, we're going to cover a few more verses here and there until we get this covered. Guys, a law is set. But what Lehi is talking about in that law is the law of Moses. By the deeds of that law, no flesh should be justified. But there's a higher law, and there's moral agency. And with moral agency, we all know, comes opposition. I'll be honest with you, I've been experiencing that opposition lately. A lot of reactivity right now. And so, this morning I woke up, my thoughts just crammed jam of catastrophizing, and I thought, give me enough of this. You know what to do. So I reached for my Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon is a comfort to me in times like these. Because it seems like to me the standards of the world are getting getting further and further from the standards of the Lord. And I know you know this. And the world is clamoring right now for our attention. It is clamoring for our attention. And that's why it's good that the saints gather together and learn something valuable at this time that can show them what they can do. Now, we're going to go through verse 14 to verse 19. Here we go. Some more wisdom for you. Verse 14. And now, my sons, I speak unto you these things for your profit and learning. For there is a God, and he hath created all things, both the heavens and the earth, and all things that in them are, both things to act and things to be acted upon. Let's camp out here just a second. What does it mean to be acted upon? We're going to go to Doctrine and Covenants, section 93, verse 30. All truth is independent in the sphere in which God has placed it, to act for itself as all intelligence also. Otherwise, there is no existence. Free will agency is an essential doctrine. Excuse me, I had to pause and gauge because I've been struggling with some coughs. Now here we go. Verse 15. Here we go. Verse 15 reads, and to bring about his eternal purposes in the end of man, after he had created our first parents, and the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air, and in fine, all things which are created. It must needs be that there was an opposition. Even the forbidden fruit in opposition to the tree of life, the one being sweet and the other bitter. That's a lot to sink your teeth in right there. That's a lot to sink your teeth in right there. Verse 16. Wherefore the Lord God gave unto men that he should act for himself. Wherefore men could not act for himself, save it should be that he was enticed by the one or the other. Listen to this act for himself. What does that entail? It entails moral agency, free will. Some people say, well, it's free agency. Well, is it free? Is it really free? When Christ paid the price for each and every one of us. Verse 17. And I, Lehi, according to the things which I have read, must needs suppose that an angel of God, according to that which is written, had fallen from heaven, wherefore he became a devil, having sought that which was evil before God. Tells you something, doesn't it? It's a dichotomy I learned, ironically, at a network marketing convention of this, God versus Satan. God versus Satan. And see, both of them are sniping, trying to do what they can to take away our free will. And we have a right to know what our free will is. By choosing morally, by choosing righteously. Verse 18. And because he had fallen from heaven and had become miserable forever, he sought out also the misery of all mankind. Wherefore he said unto Eve, yea, even the old serpent, who is the devil, who is the father of all lies, wherefore he said, partake of it, of the forbidden fruit, and ye shall not die, but ye shall be as God, knowing good from evil and evil. Verse 19. But now, see, this is where we differ a little bit. People think that that's what caused what's known as the Doctrine of Original Sin. I don't believe in the Doctrine of Original Sin. Because that takes away free will. If Adam and Eve hadn't practiced free will, we wouldn't be here. Of course, I'm going ahead of myself, so please bear with me in patience. Verse 19. And after Adam and Eve had partaken of the forbidden fruit, they were driven out of the Garden of Eden to till the earth. Alright, now we're going to go through the last leg here. We'll begin with verse 24. But behold, all things have been done in the wisdom of him who knoweth all things. Verse 25, this is my favorite, okay? This is the one, when I was investigating the church, especially between my second and third set of missionaries, this verse here put tears in my eyes. Listen to me. This verse here put tears in my eyes. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think that it wouldn't help, but I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. Adam fell that men might be, and men are that they might have joy. You ever want to know why? The purpose of suffering? Read 2 Nephi 2. Read 2 Nephi 2. It has the answers right there. Verse 26, and the Messiah cometh in the fullness of time, that he may redeem the children of men from the fall. And because that they are redeemed from the fall, they have become free forever, knowing good from evil.